Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make a motorbike shop. If you like this video, please do remember to hit that like button as it helps me in the channel out very much. But without any further ado, let's get started. Here is the amount of space required to make your motorbike store, a 23 by 25 block area as represented by the white concrete grid on the ground, which I would always recommend making if you are planning out your world. Here are all of the materials that we will be using throughout the build. Please do make sure that you have access to all those materials and enough of them as well. Step 1. If you have made the grid, come all the way over to the front left hand corner of it and then count backwards 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then right 1, 2. This is where we're going to start things off. Begin by placing 14 black glass going right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Then leave a gap of 2, 1, 2, place a black glass, and then 4 light grey concrete. 1, 2, 3, 4. Extend the 4th light grey concrete up by 3, 1, 2, 3, and then left by 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Place a black stained glass pane, and then 9 blue concrete. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Add another row of blue concrete on top, and then black glass pane on top of that. Now come all the way back over to where we placed the row of 4 light grey concrete extending up from the ground. Well, we already had 1, so we added 3, but regardless it's still a row of 4, and then extend this end block up by 1, 2. And then you can even stick a little quartz slab on top of there if you like. What we also want to do is seal up this area here, so the light grey concrete that the black glass is connected to, we want to join that up. Extend the black glass upwards as well, and also just on the opposite side here. The reason that this is significant is because this is the entrance, so just to mark that out, basically the area that would be the doors, so the glass that's on the sides here and then the open space in between, I want to have end rods that look like simple door handles, plus I don't know, there's something about end rods that I just really like as door handles. I don't know what it is specifically, so you can have them facing up or down, it doesn't really matter, it's a personal preference sort of thing. And we just want to have smooth quartz slab across the top of the area like this. And in doing that, I think that looks pretty cool. So let's move on to the rest of the build. The right side of the build here is actually relatively simple. So the top 2 rows of light grey concrete that extend up higher than this row here, we want to place a row of 8 glass. 1, 2, 3, whoops, 3, hang on, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go, hand-eye coordination at its finest. We want to have 2 rows of glass extending from those top 2 blocks, and then we want to have 18 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. We want rows of 18 light grey concrete extending out from all of the rows underneath, and then we're going to fill in between the glass using the light grey, and then later on, although we can do a little bit now, we can do the edges, we can add a little bit of smooth quartz slab on top. So then across the back of the build we can have a bunch of windows. Now, I'm not 100% certain that I actually even like these windows, but it makes sense that we can have like a little bit of variation around the build. So on the back, basically, the scheme is this. We place light grey concrete, 2 glass. 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 Light grey concrete. Well, and then finally, the end result should be that we finally get to place 2 light grey concretes like this. So there should be, let's count these up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 windows in total. And these windows, by the way, they are 2 rows high in total, so we can make them 2 rows high. And then we can extend up the light grey concrete upwards like this. And then we can add glass extending up, so just like this. And these windows are pretty much just present on the entire ground level. Everywhere that you might have an aisle between stuff, there's pretty much a window. So we're then going to make the rest of the height up using light grey concrete coming all the way up to the top. And eventually we'll have a quartz slab or row of quartz slabs across the top of the light grey concrete. So the end result of which should look like this. Then all we have to do to finish this off is we just have to extend forwards the light grey concrete here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Add 2 rows on top of this, so that would be 1, and then that would be 2. And then we are going to place a glass pane extending towards the front. And then we can take the front left-hand corner of the build and we can extend it upwards using black stained glass pane. And it will join up and connect to the glass that we have already on the front of the build where we have the blue concrete, and it will join all the way to the back as well. So essentially what I'm saying is the remaining area on the left side here, and again the hand-eye coordination is so bad, and on the front of the build it's all going to be glass. So essentially what this shop is essentially a giant glass display case for all of the motorbikes. So I guess you could think of it like that. So we're going to place all of these in between. There's not too much left to do on the front. No, there's just a little bit above here as well. We've got a small window to fill in as well. So here and here, and then we can just fill this little window in just like this. And then we can add some smooth quartz slab all the way around the edge, because ultimately the entire roof of this thing is going to be smooth quartz. But first, now that we've kind of like laid this out, and I'm very, very happy with this, by the way. I think that this looks pretty cool. But what we're now going to do is we are going to refloor the entire area. So I'm going to dig out the entire inside of the store, and I think that I'm just going to do this on recording because whilst it is quite a bit, I don't think it's going to take more than just a few minutes. I'm going to dig out the entire floor and then I'm going to replace it. We have to do underneath the windows also, so I'm going to dig... I guess that's bound to happen. I'm being very haphazard with these blocks. For the floor, I am using some deep slate blocks. I'm not sure if I'm using the right ones. I might use something else. I might swap that out a little bit because I'm currently using the deep slate brick. It's not even the right place. I'm using deep slate bricks, but I'm not 100% certain that I do like them. I mean, we've got a little test here. They're not bad. They're not bad at all. But there is a deeper variation of them. What I mean by deeper, there is a darker is the word that I'm using for. There is a darker variation, which I think I might like a little bit better. There's also a polished one, polished deep slate, I do believe, which has like an interesting texture. So we might grab that one as well, and we might just kind of compare. I think that I might have just grabbed the wrong one. I don't know whether intentionally or by accident, but I don't quite like the brick. So hang on. Oh, and also we're going to replace underneath these windows. I did consider blue. I always do as well. Underneath windows, I always consider putting like a bright color. Maybe we'll do it this time. Like I always consider a bright color, and then I'm like, nah. But on this occasion, why don't we put a bit of blue? We could even do it for the edge of the store as well, but it's easily changed later. For the back windows, it just makes them a tad bit more interesting. So, with the deep slate blocks, what else do we have? I mean, we have cobbled deep slate as well, which actually looks pretty cool. I'm just looking for an interesting texture, you know? I mean, we also have, in the terms of the deep slate that I might like, I mean, we also have the chiseled deep slate. That's what I'm talking about, not polished. We have chiseled deep slate, and we even have the... Oh, that's what we've already grabbed. So, I might use cobbled. Just because I don't use it right. No, not cobbled, not cobbled. It doesn't look right, it doesn't look right. So why don't we go with the chiseled, and we'll see how that looks. And I do, you see, that looks pretty cool. it's also darker, which I like, so it's pretty interesting. The texture, what a weird texture. I don't think I've ever used this block before. It might not be the best choice. Might even change it towards the end. But bricks would also work very well. There's just, I don't know what, I just wanted to try using a different sort of block. I've been trying to use diorite more and stuff like that. I've been trying to use granite more in builds, you know, just to shake things up a little bit, because otherwise everything gets a bit too homogenized and starts looking far too much the same, and, you know, it's... I just want it to look a little bit different, and I think that the texture, more so, not just the color's nice actually, I like it, it's a bit of a gradient as well, like, you've got the nice dark on the edges kind of going towards the light, but it's also an interesting texture. I mean, this works, obviously, you can see these stone bricks, but if we have a look from the outside, yeah, doesn't that just kind of look a little bit more interesting? You can kind of just see it a bit better. I don't know. I'll let you guys make your own decision, but I quite like that. So the next thing that I'm going to do is there are 2 levels to the motorbike store. And the way that we're going to do this is that on the left side of the store, we have light grey concrete here, extending up from this row of 3, and we're going to extend a row of 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 light grey concrete, and then we're going to join down to the ground, and then we're going to take this block, and then we're going to extend right by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then join down to the ground, and then we're going to hit this wall. Perfect. And that's all there is to it. So what we're then going to do is we're just going to add another floor in the form of the chiseled deep slate. Right? Chiseled deep slate? Yeah. I don't know why that didn't sound right in my head for some reason. Looking at this, I actually used a different textured block. I'm going to have to find it just for my own sanity. It might even be blackstone, but I mean, this works as well. So, I mean, there's always the option to change it, but I don't know why. There's just something about it. I just think it's interesting, but what did I use originally? It would seem as though I probably used just straight up deep slate tiles, which do look good as well. So, again, you're kind of going to want to change it up depending upon which one you like. The deep slate tiles definitely do look nice, I will say that. So, inside here, the way that we get up to the second floor is there is a staircase. The staircase is right in the middle of here. Well, actually, it's not right in the middle, actually. It's on the right side here. And it's 2 blocks wide, so if you place a row of glass all the way on top of everything that we just placed on top of the row of light grey concrete, then the staircase will be just to the left of this pillar. And we're just going to have quartz block, and then we will have quartz stairs leading down to the ground. Inside of here as well, we will also have a counter space. This will begin just right of the doorway here, and it's basically just a row of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just like this. And then on the wall behind here, I think maybe we'll use a bit of light grey concrete, or maybe we will use, maybe we could use a little bit of wall. Maybe this would look interesting. A row of 1, 2, 3 wall. Let's try this. And then we're going to have some bookshelves. And then we're going to have 3 quartz slabs on the wall, just like this. And we'll put some bookshelves and we'll decorate this a little bit later on. What I also want to have is, let's mark out some of the important things inside here. So grab the smooth quartz stairs and the pillar quartz block, and leading down from these smooth quartz, we want to have smooth quartz stairs, and then upside down underneath, stairs, stairs, just extending down just like this. And it hit that counter, which I don't think it was supposed to do, so we might even have to move this over a row. Or actually, it doesn't even matter that it hit the counter, to be quite honest, because it kind of also almost makes the counter... it almost makes the counter a little bit closed off. But we could also, if you don't like the fact that it hits the counter, then you could shove the staircase an additional row over. It wouldn't be too much trouble to do that. So we could do this. And then we could, and again, it depends whether you care about these things. You know, we can just change things as we go along. So we can do that, and then that. Then we can re-grab the stairs. So I guess that way it does make more logical sense that you'd be able to walk around a little bit more freely. Inside of the store, we are going to have a bunch of displays for motorcycles and even a couple of mopeds. So if you start from the front left-hand corner of the store, you move inwards diagonally, you want to place yourself a quartz stair. Leave a gap of 3, 1, 2, 3, stair. Gap of 3, 1, 2, 3, stair. And then behind these, place 4 pillar quartz block, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then on the opposite side, some smooth quartz stair, just like this. And boom, there you go. And also, funnily enough, we want the exact same thing on the second floor. So, if you can fly, if you're not making this in survival, then you can see where you placed the previous rows, and then you literally want to come up to the second level, leave a gap of 1, and you want to do the same thing. So leave a gap of 3 in between all of these stairs, 4 pillar quartz directly behind, and then on the opposite side, a quartz stair. So stair, 4 pillar quartz, and then on the opposite side, stair, just like this. Perfect. And that's all there is to it. So that's where all the displays will be. The mopeds will be over there. And I mean, that's kind of like, that's a good majority of the store laid out, or at least, you know, the inside of it. So the next thing that we're going to do is, whilst we've just got the materials, let's put an end to the outside of the store. So it almost sounds like we're destroying it, but I'm going to add a couple of rows of smooth stone on the left side. So basically just running up the entire left side of the motorbike store here. And I also want 2 rows leading all the way to the doorway. So, here, and here as well. So they don't want to come any further than the doorway because we're going to add a little bit of plant life. But the width of the doorway, we are going to extend outwards. And this would connect to a street in any sort of way that you want. So if you wanted to then add a footpath in front of this, or if you want it to connect to the road, how it kind of is with mine, do what you like. However it connects. On the left side as well, we're going to have a couple of rows of smooth stone so that you can kind of like walk straight around the store, so you can just integrate it into your city a little bit better. We're going to dig out this entire left side area. We're going to replace it using grey concrete because this is, well, I mean, this is twofold. I mean, actually, leave a row spare on the left and right sides. So this is twofold. You can display bikes out here, or you could use it as car parking spaces, but not for very big cars. So outside here, let's just figure out what we need just to finish off the outside, right? So we're going to need leaves, green terracotta, podzol, poppies, and then a loom, and then we're missing banners. Very important, but we're going to grab white dye, blue dye, and in the item list, I am sure there will be banners. We need 9 of them, I do believe. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So, well, not quite as many because we can reuse the O, but the leaves are for the 2 areas that we just left open. So, we're just going to fill those in. We're going to use leaves on the right side of the build here, just next to the entrance. Dig out in front of this, and we are going to replace the first and last row using green terracotta, if there's anything left to place it onto. green terracotta. In between, a bit of podzol. And then on top of that, the podzol, we will have poppies. And boom, there we go. Easy peasy. Looks pretty nice. Looks even better with bikes outside, to be quite honest. You can even place the bikes in, so you can see like inside, right, where like the bikes are. The way that I would place the bikes outside, because it's got kind of like a cool effect that like if you look from the side, like all of the bikes would line up. I think it's cool, I don't know. But you can have like bikes here and then here and here, and it's almost as it, I don't know, it kind of just seems to go together. But that's how I'm going to be placing bikes a little bit later on. I'm going to get rid of everything in the inventory except the loom. Well, now I'm going to get rid of the loom, so I'm going to throw the loom down, move all of these over to the left. And we're going to start by making the first letter using the banners. So the first banner is going to be M. So that's white dye, triangle at the top. Grab that, throw that out, grab the white dye, put the blue dye in. Add the little triangles at the top, grab that, put that in, throw the blue dye out, throw the white dye in. Vertical row of white on the right and the left. Grab that. There you go. M. Next would be O, the only letter that we get to reuse. So horizontal on the left, vertical on the left, on the right, and then horizontal on the bottom and the top. Feel free to slow down the video if I'm going too fast, but I've made banners too many times, like horizontal row of white across the top, and straight through the middle, straight down through the middle will give you T. Then we would need O again, but luckily we can just reuse it. You may have to make one yourself. R is a horizontal row of white across the top, vertical on the left, and diagonal top left corner to bottom right corner. Then we have to make B, which is basically horizontal through every single part of the banner, top, middle, bottom, and then vertical on the right and the left. There you go. B. Next would be I. So that is a row of white straight up the middle, and boom, there you have I. Next would be K. So, BK. Okay. So a vertical row on the left, and then basically both of the diagonal rows. There we go. Then, last but not least, we would need E. So I'm just going to dump blue dye out because we don't need it for E. And then we just need a horizontal row through every single part of the banner. Top, bottom, middle. What am I doing with these? Top, middle, bottom. Straight through the middle. And then a vertical row just on the left side. So, there we go. Perfect. So, on our blue sign, our 2 rows of blue concrete, M-O-T-O-R-B-I-K-E. Motorbike. That's all it says. It doesn't say motorbikes. It doesn't say, I don't know, Motormania. It doesn't say, it's not a particular brand of motorcycles. Literally, just motorbike. And hopefully people get the message from the sign. So, maybe it'd be cool to actually have... I'll float this idea with you at the end of the video because it does change things a bit, but it might be cool to add. So, can get rid of these now. Right? No? Are we... Why? Why isn't my inventory disappearing? That's weird. Did they change it? Did they get rid of the feature where you can just, like, dump your entire inventory? That's weird. Like, X is supposed to usually... Huh. That is absolutely bizarre. Okay, well, anyway, I'm going to grab the polished blackstone wall, and that's actually it for, like, the outside of the build. So for the remaining inside the build, we're just going to grab bookshelves, we'll grab end rods, chain, lantern, we'll just need things like paintings, armor stands, item frames, chests, and just a few other things. So just for one row... polished blackstone wall. Oh, there is also this. So, on the front left-hand corner of the build, there's just a row of polished blackstone wall. And then, in front of it, or on top of it, and in front, we're going to have a row of quartz slab. And that kind of just provides a little bit of contrast between, like, the roof and the top of the building. Like, it just sticks out a little bit more. It just looks a little bit better. And that's all there is to it. So, heading on inside now, first of all, we're going to add bookshelves on top of these blackstone walls. I'm not 100% certain about the walls, but it does look kind of okay. Hanging off of the shelves, I'm just going to add some item frames. It's just kind of like an interesting display method. Here, in between kind of this little area, I just want to add a poster. I don't know what... So, the thing is, paintings, very subjective. They can kind of be whatever you want them to be. Like, that could easily be a guy modeling a motorcycle outfit, like, the leather stuff that they wear and the protective clothing and gear. That could easily be that. So, we're going to take advantage of the ambiguity, and we're going to place one there. And we're also going to place a bunch of these. Why? We're going to be placing a bunch of these in between the motorbikes. So, well, maybe just 2 there, actually. And preferably, we'll get different ones. There we go. And that's all there is to it. So just in between these, I'm going to re-grab the bookshelves. There we go. So just there. And then in between these, so like if I was to put the roof on, and we might have to put the, you know what, let's do that actually. It will just be a bit easier. I'm going to put the entire roof on, but you can see the positionings of those posters. It's basically just in between the displays of the motorbikes. And the reason that I want to add the roof is because like where the motorbikes are on the wall, I want to add lanterns like in between the, like it kind of frames the posters. So that's why I kind of like need the roof so that I can have the lanterns. And I'm also going to have some hanging lanterns as well for the display room downstairs. That's going to be a mixture of, assuming you can do this in Bedrock, if not there is a way around it, end rods with chains with then lanterns. That should be very possible actually, because chains are I guess self-sufficient. They can kind of just go anywhere, which is what I love in a block, honestly. One that's not fussy. It can kind of just be placed wherever it likes. I'm looking at you, candles. Candles are weird. So let's place all of that, and there we go. Perfect. So that's the roof. And the idea being that for the lower set of displays, I just want to have an end rod, so like lining up with where the stairs is, or stairs are. I want to have end rods positioned at the front and the back of the display. So that should be there, right? At the front and the back of the displays. You don't have to do it by eye. Like, as we move left, it's a gap of 3. As we move backwards, it's a gap of 4. So you can work it out. And then we can have chains hanging from off of these with then lanterns. It's not even that necessary for light, or at least during the day it's not. But at night it will kind of highlight the bikes, hopefully. And I don't know, it's kind of cool, like whenever you go past like a car place or whatever, or even like it just at shops in general, shops that sell like, you know, fancy stuff. It's kind of cool to like walk by at night, and it's kind of like obvious like what's being like lit up and highlighted, and it's just the same sort of thing with this. So now that we've done that, we are going to add a couple of armor stands just behind the counter here. We'll display some, like, you know, bike gear off of these. We can even have like a lantern over here as well, double chest, something like that, you know, just to look a little, just so that it looks used. On the left side of the build, we are going to have bookshelves. So these are going to be bookshelves are kind of the perfect block for, like, they are aisles containing things. What are those things? I don't know, but there are items on these shelves. They make the perfect shelves almost. And we're going to have these shelves here, and then pretty much wherever we have these light grey concretes leading all the way. There should be 4 of these in total, leading all the way here, joined diagonally to the light grey concrete. And we might even make it so that... Nah, I don't think we will, actually. So, we're not going to make it so that we can, like, walk around these shelves. I think that, like, if you walk down an aisle, you're not coming back. So, I don't know, it just looks kind of cool, and especially from the outside, it adds just, like, another interesting element. And that's all there is to it with that. So, now that we've done that, I did consider adding a window up here. So, a window that is equal to... I don't think that's quite... Yes, it is. So, the window is basically, like, equal to the window or the entrance area, is what I'm trying to say. But the problem is that that's not centered, is it? So, did I destroy too many blocks, or did I go the wrong way? So, yeah, oh, I destroyed too many rows. So, it's kind of, like, equal to the staircase and also to the entrance area. So, just like that. There. 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 And there. Perfect. There we go. Nice. And then that might be... Well, the thing is, underneath here, you could keep going with... I'm in 2 minds about this. Like, we can keep going with kind of like the bookshelves, which I'd prefer, to be honest, because the other idea for this, that inside of the inside of this like underneath part. We could try and we could add like a display for some expensive bikes, like we could make them out of like gold and diamonds and stuff. But what I imagine in a motorbike store, like obviously all of the cool stuff is on display, and then there's loads of stuff like if you wanted to buy bulbs, or if you wanted to buy equipment, or if you wanted to buy, you know, I don't know, whatever you might need for a motorbike, then that's what else is going to be stocked. And the back of the store it's just so perfectly laid out for the shelves that I just think it's better maybe just to keep it this way. So instead of having like loads of displays of like loads of random stuff, I think that we're just better off with this. So the next thing that we're going to do, and one of the last things really before we have to grab new materials, is we're going to grab smooth quartz stairs, weighted pressure plates, and black concrete. So over here on this desk, we're going to have a smooth quartz stair with a heavy weighted pressure plate like this. And if you want to decorate the area, this is a little bit of an extra thing, you know, feel free to just chuck flower pots and stuff. I mean, that's always good. You can even chuck other things on here, like you could even chuck a crafting table about, like, if you want to really do, you know, add loads more stuff inside here, like, feel free to customize the shelves with crafting tables and all sorts. I mean, you know, don't just relegate yourself to things that I've did, because if you wanted to, like, every so often, you could have, you know, just use different blocks, and it might even make it look a little bit more interesting. But the thing is, I mean, I just happen to find that bookshelves are pretty cool by themselves, like, but I suppose that it does add a bit of intrigue if every so often you do have a crafting table. And I'm just using these as an example. Furnaces and stuff would work nicely too. Now I find that I'm just repeating that. I'm probably repeating the same pattern as well. Like whenever I find that I'm trying to be random with blocks, like I always do like a pattern or something, but that's okay, it doesn't matter. But you get the idea, and you could even make it a bit more interesting back here, really. Like a smithing table, obviously, and crafting table, it's like you're selling tools of which you could then use to work on the motorcycle, and you could even stack things up here as well. Like nothing has to be explained, you know, like everything can be kind of just as it is. Like you don't have to be like, oh, that's this for this specifically. Like a bit of imagination goes a long way. And anyway, coming back to this, let's figure out where all of the motorcycles are going. So I mean, I've kind of already told you, but the method is this. So outside we're going to have motorbikes that are in line with all of the other displays in the motorbikes, and we're going to have black concretes at the front of the motorbike, and then there will be gaps of 1, 2, and then on the third block it will be another black concrete like this. And on top of these, because these are wheels, on top of the black concretes will be weighted pressure plates, or heavy weighted pressure plates, or iron pressure plates, whatever you want to call them. The same thing will be placed on the displays. So at the front and the back, on the front and the back pillar quartz block, black concretes with heavy weighted pressure plates. Just like that. And these are basically just the wheels. And why are we just placing the wheels, you may ask? Because we don't have the other stuff. That's why. Because we didn't have room for all of the other materials. So that's the only reason why. But I just wanted to kind of like mark them out to give you a good idea, because with the wheels, like everything else is a little bit subjective, so I'll explain what I mean by that in just a second. Let me grab the remaining materials that we need to finish this build, and then we can get cracking. Okay, I think I figured out roughly what we're going to need to finish this thing off. So we're going to start off by grabbing rails, mine carts, levers, buttons, and then a bunch of different colored concretes. There's also a different few variations that we can make, but we'll discuss that in a sec. So every single one of the motorbikes needs a seat. So the seat is going to consist of a rail with a minecart. So you can actually get into the motorbike if you like. Every single motorbike will also have stone buttons on the sides of the wheels. So just like this. Perfect. Then, the motorbikes need to have an actual colour, like this is where the tank would be, and this is where the handlebars are as well. So, out here, I'm just going to keep it simple, like red, orange, yellow. And we're going to put levers on the sides of these, And this is about as simple as a motorbike you can make. You can make it even simpler by using either a slab or a stair for the seat, but if you kind of want to make it a little bit more immersive and using the minecart, there you go. That's your bog standard motorbike. Easy peasy. Doesn't get too much easier than that. So what we're going to do is we're going to come inside and we are going to apply all of the rails, the buttons, the minecarts to every single one of the sets of wheels that we made earlier. There's 9 in total, so we'll get all of this done, and then we can, once we have applied all of these seats and all of the, I don't know what to call it, like wheel bearings, I don't know, it just makes it look a little bit more like a wheel at the end of the day, whatever you want to kind of like call it. So these seats and the buttons like this, not there. Oh, and on that side as well. See, it's easy to miss some, it really is. So here as well, and on here too. Perfect. So that leaves us with a bunch of kind of like, it leaves us with a bunch of frames for motorcycles. So what our next job is to grab all of our remaining materials that we might want to use to colour the motorbikes, and this is what gives them variation. And what you can do is you can use different concrete blocks, or you can also use terracottas as well to kind of like add a bit of variation and make them look a little bit interesting, because of course motorcycles can often be painted and they can have like decals applied to them and all sorts of other stuff. So it would be quite interesting to use some glazed terracottas and some other colourful blocks if you felt so inclined. I'm just making sure, or at least hoping, that I'm not getting any repeats up here. And I actually really like the glazed terracotta versions a lot. I think that they look really cool. So you can have more of those, or you could have less of those, or you could do whatever you like. But now as we take a look from the outside, I mean, I don't know why, it just kind of, it looks pleasing to my eye that we've got a bunch of rows of motorcycles, each at kind of like different altitudes as well. I mean, that's only 1 block high, but you guys get the idea. And it just looks kind of cool, and you can, of course, feel free to make them any colours that you like, use any sorts of blocks that you like, and we can even kind of like, loads of different blocks work. So, for instance, like, what I'm going to be making up here is I'm going to be making a moped. So, mopeds are dead easy to make. Grindstone. We're going to use smooth quartz slab. We're going to use smooth quartz stairs. We'll need dark oak fence gates for kickstands. We'll also need chest, lever, buttons, and mopeds need a solid block and a stair variant. So that can be anything, you know, that you can use all sorts of stuff, and you can mix and match them as well. But for instance, like, I'm going to make a waxed oxidized cut copper version. So just in the corner here, we're going to just move across by 1, and then on the ground I'm going to place a grindstone. Gap of, I do want to say it's just 1. I think it is a gap of 1. No, it's a gap of 2, my bad. So, no, yeah, it is. Gap of... Actually, from the wall, leave a gap of 1, place a grindstone. Gap of 1, place a grindstone. There we go. Perfect. So, on the front grindstone, I want to have a smooth quartz stair. Behind that, a waxed, oxidized cut copper. Behind that, I want to place a smooth quartz stair. And behind that, I want the upside down version of the stair that we used to like colour the moped. Now this is really tricky to place. There we go, perfect. On top of the back, I'm just going to place a chest kind of like off to the side. I'm going to, we don't need buttons, we're going to use levers on the sides of where the tank would be, and then we're going to use a dark oak fence gate as kind of like a kickstand. So that's just going to be placed to the side here. You can even add a windshield, but this is just like a bit of a variation of a bike. Also, the grindstones are meant to be placed on the, like, the bottom of the grindstone is like, this part wants to be like upside down almost, so that it actually looks like a wheel. But just for the sake of it, you know, in here, you know, we're just going to leave it as is. So we're going to have another moped next to this, and let's grab the glass, and then let's grab the waxed copper, the waxed cut copper. And then we're just going to leave a gap of, I think that we'll just leave a gap of 1. And then we'll place the same set of grindstones. And they want to be facing forwards like this. If nothing else, I mean, we'd have to go underneath, literally, like underneath here. And then place them onto the smooth quartz slabs and the quartz stairs. Like, we'd have to place them onto them, like, from like a lower angle, like up onto it. So again, I'm quite happy just to have them kind of like just like this. But again, grindstone, quartz slab, cut copper, stair, upside down stair, chest, dark oak fence gate as a kickstand, ladders on the side. If you want to have a windshield, maybe this one here, we can add glass on top of the tank area and then extend it left and right. And there you go. And then we can have a variation without. There is actually room for but one more if you did want to. It's going to kind of like be overhanging though, so I'm not sure if I'd actually even like another one, but I guess we can place it. And all we've got to do, of course, is we'll want to have something else, right? So what else do we have in the kind of like metallic block sort of? I don't actually want to use a metallic block. Let me think what has a stair variation. Maybe we could have a black one. We could go with a black one, maybe even like a polished blackstone version. So we could do that. And again, as I keep mentioning, like, it's always possible to have something different. So like, it doesn't have to be purely blackstone. We could have like, you know, copper and blackstone or whatever the case might be with it. But just to show you how customizable it is, I mean, there you go. That's all there is to it. So simple. And yeah, I mean, that's it for pretty much the entire upstairs area. And all we've brought with us as well is stuff that you might use as kind of like motorcycle. As motorcycle equipment. So that would be just like helmets and like body armor. And I mean, you could just grab. I mean, the whole outfits would be a thing. I mean, I think you literally have. I mean, the boots are probably quite a big deal as well. So like, you know, Neverite boots and stuff, and like the. Do you call them chaps, or have I made that up? I don't know. Hello, chaps. But we can place, you know, this sort of stuff here. The Neverite is probably the best because it just looks like that dark leather. You could also dye leather black as well, or grey or something like that. And I think that's it, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think that there's really anything else up here to add, or in here to add, or out here to add, except for you might like to add. Above the entrance here, I had the idea because I also made like a used car dealership. And I had a similar sort of idea for it. And basically, for the used car dealership, I have kind of like a... What would you call it? What colour do I want the bike to be? We'll make it red. So, kind of like a profile of a bike. Or I had a profile of a car. And I had it just like above where the entrance would be. So here we could have like a similar thing in that we could have... do we have a quartz stair anywhere? Above the entrance we can have like a profile of a motorbike. Just like this. And I don't know. I think it might kind of like... You might not even get it like looking at it. You might be like, what? What is that? What even is... But, I mean, for those of you that may be a little bit more observant, you might notice that that's a motorbike. But, you know, I mean, obviously, because I told you, you'd know. But, like, if you're walking through a city and it's like, what is that above the... Oh, it looks like that. But, yeah, I think that that's pretty cool. And that's probably it, guys. I think that we've made this thing now. So this is what a motorbike store should look like once it has been 100% fully completed. I hope that you guys have enjoyed this tutorial. I think that this is a pretty fun one. If you have, please do remember to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, click that little bell next to the subscription button, and if you want to make anything else by me, check out the card system, the description below, and the top of the comment section for more. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I love you all very much, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.